Hello everyone. First news update exclusively for our Patreon and Boosty communities holder. Short video will be published on YouTube and Rumble also, and greetings to our YouTube and Rumble communities too, obviously. And dear friends, if you are watching short clip from this video on YouTube or Rumble, please like the video, leave some commentary, share with your friends. Could be very helpful, very helpful. And well, that's been said, on YouTube, guys, if you are interested in supporting my work and having access to all the extra content that I have on my Patreon and Boosty, please subscribe. A link will be in the description box and in the pinned comment. That's been said, let's go through some news straight away. And well, I will start with this update that Russian forces conducted new long-range precise strike on military-industrial complex of Western Baker Nazi and terrorist Ukrainian regime, including inside the Kiev itself. That's exactly what this headline on RIA Novosti says. Russian armed forces struck military-industrial complex facilities in Kiev. Let me give you details. So, Russian armed forces struck military-industrial complex facilities in Kiev. Ministry of Defense reported tonight in response to terrorist attacks on civilian infrastructure. Group strike was with their land-based precision weapons was carried out on military-industrial complex facilities. Report says Russian fighters targeted Samsung Ukraine facility where components of FP5 Flamingo missiles were manufactured and stored, as well as a workshop for assembling long and medium range drones. According to local media in Kiev, several explosions rocked capital of Ukraine overnight. Air raid sirens were sounded throughout the city, and according to information that is available in open sources, about 10 missiles, 10 ballistic missiles were launched by Russian forces, probably Iskander-M missiles, but Russian Defense Ministry did not went into specifics of this overnight strikes. Also, Russian forces continue to take out military and logistical infrastructure of the Kiev regime in other directions, of course, also, and energy infrastructure too that is related to military activity of enemy. And right now on your screen, you can see consequences and aftermath, basically, of such strikes, for example, in Kharkov and Odessa regions. Unfortunately, Kiev regime, with assistance of NATO, is still able to launch large-scale, long-range attacks on Russian Federation practically on daily basis. And overnight, Russian Air Defense Forces intercepted 415 long-range drones that were launched formally by Kiev regime, in reality, obviously, by NATO member states. UK and US, of course, are leading the charge against Russia and Russian people. And I can give you some specifics about this past night attacks on Russia. So 450 drones were intercepted over the Belgorod, Bryansk, Volgograd, Vologda, Voronezh, Vladimir, Kursk, Lipetsk, Oryol, Rostov, Ryazan, Samara, Saratov, and the Tula regions, Moscow region, Krasnodar Krai, Republic of Crimea, and Republic of Tatarstan. They're over the waters of Azov and the Black Sea. So yet another large-scale, long-range attack on the Russian Federation orchestrated by NATO member states. 450 drones were intercepted, but unfortunately, some drones did manage to bypass air defenses, mostly because flight path and targeting data from these drones are provided by U.S. Intelligence, and the very same U.S. provides intelligence about location and activity of Russian raiders, so that some Kiev regime drones, while attempting to maneuver between these air defense systems umbrellas, looks like managing to sneak in to Russian territory, deep into Russian territory. Of course, Russian militaries will work on that. But well, unfortunately, as of now, some drones managing to bypass air defenses, and we have this report that, for example, two tankers were targeted in Taganrog Bay. Ukrainian drones attacked two tankers in Taganrog Bay. Rostov region governor Yuri Slusser reported two civilians received their injuries as a result of this attack. Also, we have reports that Kiev regime, with assistance of NATO member states, struck oil refinery in Nizhny Kamsk, which is one of the most modern oil refineries on Russian territory that produces, among other things, Euro 5 gasoline and diesel, aviation, kerosene, and a lot of other petroleum products. And the capacity of this oil refinery is 8 million tons a year. And based on some pictures that are available on internet, one can assume that damage was quite significant because thick smoke is rising from several areas on territory of this oil refinery. Unfortunately, another oil refinery was targeted past night also in Ufa, and clearly there was some damage done to Ufa oil refinery also based on this thick smoke that coming out from the area. You can see on your screen aftermath. Another oil refinery was targeted in Saratov, and also there is numerous videos and photos of drone strikes and fires, explosions, and so on. Damage was again quite significant. It looks like. In addition, Kiev regime, with the assistance of NATO member states, targeted Krasnodar gas compressor station in the Krasnodar Krai, which is one of their key facilities of Gazprom's gas transportation system in southern Russia. It is responsible for pumping gas through the Blue Stream main gas pipeline. This compressor station that was struck, and based on videos that I have seen, damage was quite serious, massive fire on the spot. And dear friends, Russia supplies Turkey and also a number of European consumers through this Blue Stream and Turk Stream pipeline network. And as of now, in Russian media, I did not see anything about a disruption of gas transportation through these pipelines. Maybe from now to 3 p.m. when I launch today's main news update during the live stream at 3 p.m. Moscow time. Maybe we will have more information that will share additional updates on that. But it is unfortunate that after many attempts, after many unsuccessful attempts to damage infrastructure of this Blue Stream, Turk Stream pipeline network, Kiev regime and its NATO backers finally did manage to do so. Hopefully, damage is not that extensive, and soon will be restored this compressor station. But yeah, it is unfortunate that this happened. And also, when it comes to these long-range attacks on Russian energy infrastructure, we have an update in regards to Omsk oil refinery, which is the biggest oil refinery on Russian territory. In my previous updates, I did share my take on this situation. Strike itself happened day before yesterday, isn't it? And so, according to Reuters, this largest oil refinery in Russia, Omsk refinery, suspended operations after the drone attacks. According to information of Reuters, two main oil primary processing units, which accounts for about 75% of enterprise's production capacity, were damaged. In addition, plants stopped selling gasoline and diesel fuel on exchange, which on its own is indicated that damage is quite serious, and the company no longer participates in spot sales. Of course, combine their harm with these long-range attacks on Russian Federation that are orchestrated by NATO member states is rising, and of course, this if nothing is done, this situation is unsustainable, and unfortunately, impact on Russian Federation and Russian people, negative impact of these long range attacks will only accelerate and will probably cause a lot of tensions and a lot of negativity. It is anybody's guess, of course, what plans Russian President Vladimir Putin has, or the Kremlin, to restore the deterrent with the collective West and secure Russian people and the Russian Federation. But something definitely needs to be done, and as fast as possible. And that is that, man. Of course, we'll understand that without direct involvement of NATO member states in these long-range attacks on Russian Federation, Kiev regime would not be able to pull off any of these attacks, any. And it is also well known for everybody that Russian militaries and security services are well capable of restoring deterrent with the collective West in a single day, in a 24-hour period. All they need is a green light from Russian president, and after Russian militaries will restore deterrent with the collective West, it would not take too long before Russian militaries then will finalize a special military operation. And yet again, it all depends on what kind of decisions the Russian president will made, and he had to come up with some solutions, man, because this is just unsustainable when Russian infrastructure is being basically bombed and destroyed on daily basis throughout the country, especially throughout the European part of the country, and it is absolutely unacceptable that Russian civilians being harmed or killed, wounded, literally on daily basis as a result of this long-range Ukrainian slash NATO attacks.